Yesterday on Fox Business, a former Wells Fargo customer told us exclusively that he was scammed by the bank and is so furious he's joined a $10 billion class action lawsuit. Listen.
As far as money goes, I'm really not seeking. That's not my main goal. I just want Wells Fargo to be responsible for what they did, not only to me, but to other millions of customers.
You know, that fallout is so not limited to consumers. Louisiana Senator David Vitter says thousands of small business owners were also embroiled in the bank's phony account scandal. One group you also don't want to upset, New York City's bravest and New York City's finest, the firefighters and the police. Their pension funds have millions of dollars in Wells Fargo stock. Joining us now is the man in charge of those funds in a Fox Business exclusive, New York City Comptroller Scott Stringer. Listen, $160 billion in assets in these investment funds, which include the teachers, by the way. 3 weeks ago, you were with us, and you said you had sent a letter to Wells Fargo. We brought you back to find out, have they reached back out to you? Are you any happier with the situation?
Well, years ago, the New York City Pension Fund actually put in place clawbacks so that we can actually go after the CEO, chair of the board, if they're not doing the right thing. So we sent a letter demanding $41 million in pay to come back to the share owners, and I'm glad to say they're doing that.
Okay.
We've also looked at one of the vice presidents. We want $19 million back. They're doing that.
Who's that? That's Carrie Tolstead,
yes.
who's in charge of community banking?
Yes, so that's 19. But look, 5,300 employees were fired. What about the senior executives? We've now penalized them $185 million. The stock is down 13%. This is an entire scam perpetuated on the people of this country. Mayor de Blasio and I have also sent another letter saying, look, if you don't complete an investigation and clean this up, then our pension fund may decide not to do business with you. We are not playing around. This is something that has taken people by surprise. It's a shock. It's reputational harm, but it also impacts our firefighters, our teachers, our police officers. We invest this money, their money, for their pension security.
Just a quick mention here. President Obama has just exited and come out to the Rose Garden. He is announcing that the Paris Climate Change Agreement will take effect in 30 days. We're monitoring that situation as we continue this conversation with Scott Stringer, the New York City Comptroller. Let's give people some hard numbers. The firefighters of New York, FDNY, in their pension fund, 198,000 shares, equaling about, well, at last check, 11 million, but Wells Fargo stock has tanked more than 10% since this drama happened. New York teachers' retirement, 1.1 million shares, equaling 66 million. You guys have taken a hit. What will bring this back to a point where you're feeling a little bit better about it? Because the news broke today that the city of Chicago said, we're out for a year. We're suspending all business with Wells Fargo. That's how furious we are. That's a 40-year-long relationship that Chicago had. Do you expect, or would you like to see the same here in New York?
Well, we were able to get the pay scale clawed back, which I think is significant. And look, we sent a very harsh letter saying we are prepared to end our relationship with Wells Fargo unless they complete a thorough investigation and explain to us why this happened and what they're going to do to make sure this doesn't happen again. So the mayor and I, we're on the same page. We understand that they cannot get away with this. We're very concerned. One thing that would make it better for us, we need an independent board. Get rid of the rascals, put in a truly independent board to make the right decisions to how to clean this up.
If you don't see that, will you divest of Wells Fargo stock?
We made it clear that if they do not clean this mess up in a real way, that this is on the table.
Is the clock ticking? Is there a timeline that you want to give them?
As long as I've been on the show, it keeps ticking.
Yeah, because 3.5 weeks ago you were on, or
That's
3
right.
weeks,
That's
just about 3 weeks.
And we are actively engaged in ferreting out what went wrong, how they're going to fix it. But look, at the end of the day, we could walk away if they don't do what they're supposed to do.
Listen, shareholders have filed for class action status. Would you join that?
We're not there yet because I have a board of many trustees I have to talk to, but we are having ongoing conversations.
Is this the kind of thing where eventually you believe in your heart that, because there's been this talk on both sides of the aisle, that Wells Fargo is just too big, it should be broken up, or at least the chairman position should be separated from the CEO position?
Well, that certainly makes sense to me. It's a big company. There needs to be accountability. But look, we need a real independent board, so let's go get an independent board. We need for the managers to be held accountable. Yes, they fired 5,300 basically low-level workers, but what heads rolled on the, in the corporate suite? Who got hurt here? The people who actually hatched this plan, they're free. There's no penalty to them. And we have to make sure that we hold these company chairs accountable to the people and the share owners who invest in these companies.
You are fighting for the people. Will you run for the people? I have to ask you, because there's a lot of talk about you running for mayor of New York City. Is that something you are or would consider?
Right now, I have a very important job as city comptroller, and that's the job I'm focused on. As you can see, between Wells Fargo, Milan, there's a lot that we have to do to make sure that we protect the pensions of hardworking New Yorkers and hardworking people around the country.
That's a maybe. All right, I'll take it. Scott, it's good to see you. Thank you very much. Scott Stringer is New York City